Hey, buddy, meeting you here again, along with Qinima. Remember back when we were little? We used to play with mud a lot, digging and burying animals from our failed experiments. But imagine this, when we were having a blast digging around, suddenly we stumble upon ancient artifacts that are super valuable, to the point of shaking up the whole world. Now, this time we want to tell you about 5 accidental yet incredibly phenomenal archaeological discoveries that shook the world. Let's dive into the stories. Sutton Hoo Mounds. Once upon a time, in 1939 to be precise, the whole world was tangled up in tension that disrupted global security. England and Germany were on the edge, and World War II was about to explode at the doorstep. Now, amidst all that chaos, there was Edith Pretty. She wasn't a cliché character from novels. She was a widow with a child, and had royal connections in England. Edith actually owned a vast land in Sutton Hoo. That place wasn't just any ordinary empty land. It had some mysterious mounds rumored to be significant graves. There were whispers that the Vikings had set foot there in the past. So, curious Edith decided to dig into those mounds, taking Basil Brown on this mysterious adventure. Basil Brown wasn't some pretentious archaeologist from a prestigious university. He was actually a school dropout who had a real passion for archaeology. Talk about luck, Basil picked the smallest mound to dig. His reasoning was simple. It was small and less likely to attract treasure hunters. For some reason, Basil's instinct for finding that mound was spot on. Right from the first excavation, Basil discovered huge ship fragments and strange ancient metal artifacts. Even more astonishing, upon further investigation, those artifacts turned out to be even older than the Viking era, dating back to the Anglo-Saxon period that started around the 5th century AD. Just imagine, during that time, the oldest Hindu kingdom in Indonesia, the Kingdom of Kutai, was thriving. In England, the Vikings wouldn't emerge until around 200 years later, in the 8th century AD. So, you can picture this. It's like unearthing stories from a time before time. This discovery eventually caught the attention of Charles Phillips, a renowned archaeologist from the University of Cambridge. He was genuinely amazed by these mysterious mounds, but he felt it needed more oomph, so he got the British Museum involved. Mind you, these weren't just any mounds. It turned out that beneath them lay the burial of King Raedwald, the last ruler of the Anglo-Saxon era, who bravely faced the Viking attacks and threats. So, it's not just a story about a tomb, but also about courage and heroism. After Edith Pretty passed away and World War II was over, her family generously donated around 263 artifacts from the excavation's spine-chilling stuff, including precious metals, to the British Museum. Despite having the right to demand a hefty payment for this discovery, Edith's family didn't. By the way, if you're curious and want to know more, this epic tale has been turned into a Netflix film called The Dig. So, you can experience the mysterious aura and adventure of those mounds firsthand. Terracotta Army. On March 29, 1974, there was this farmer named Yang Jifa. He was busy digging in his field, trying to make a well or something. But guess what? His shovel hit something that got everyone talking in the 20th century. Here's the deal at that time. Yang Jifa was with his buddy, Puzhi. Both of them were farmers in Lintong, Shaanxi, China. They were chatting and agreed to dig a well together in their field. As they started digging, they suddenly hit something mysterious that whacked Jifa's shovel. At first, they thought they'd found Buddha statues, but it was even more exciting: ancient terracotta warriors from the Qin dynasty, around 221–206 BC. News spread like wildfire, and archaeology teams and Chinese officials rushed to the scene. When they dug deeper, it wasn't just 1 or 2 warriors. They found over 8,000 terracotta warriors. These warriors were created around 246 BC, and the whole process involved 700,000 workers and took 40 years. And get this, it wasn't only warriors. There were also other statues depicting various professions. Musicians, acrobats, cool officials, and concubines, the whole gang. But here's where it gets interesting. They also found these cool copper weapons, arrows, swords, and even whips. And guess what? Even after more than 2,000 years, these weapons were still in great condition. Pretty neat, huh? But wait, there's more. They discovered around 130 horse-drawn chariots and 670 horses. And amusingly, they were buried in 3 different pits, just like military formations from back in the day. There were big pits and smaller ones. There were also 3 tiny pits, sort of like command posts, with 68 guarding statues. In 1987, UNESCO stepped in and declared the Terracotta Army a World Heritage Site, so these warriors' greatness is recognized on an international level now. Lucy the skeleton. Oh, know who Lucy is? Check this out. Lucy is actually a fossil of an ancient lady who lived around 3.5 million years ago. That's way before our time, dude. Here's the scoop. Lucy is like one of the foremothers of humans, but she's also got some family ties to the big apes. You know, those giant acrobatic ones. Lucy's fossil was found in the Afar region of Ethiopia in 1974. And guess who discovered it? A cool archaeologist named Donald Carl Johansen. It's crazy, right? Finding clues from the past like that. And here's the kicker, the name Lucy was given by this Donald guy. He sort of connected the fossil bones, and it turned out Lucy was a lady. At first, they only had 40% of her complete skeleton. The rest, yeah, it was gone, decayed by time. So, Donald found 3 cool facts about Lucy. First, she was way different from other apes. She could stand upright and walk like a human. Second, this is what makes it mysterious. We still don't know why the Lucy species went extinct. Seriously, no solid evidence of how they kicked the bucket. Lastly, even though Lucy could stand and walk like a human, she was much smaller in size. She stood about 1.1 meters tall and didn't weigh more than 29 kilos. Tiny, really. Here's another cool twist. Lucy's second discovery was locked in hard stone, like a prison. This happened in 2000, and scientists had to work for 5 years to free the fossil from the stone jail. And when they did, guess what? Parts of the skull and body were still intact. And this is what makes the mystery even thicker. From these bones, scientists deduced that Lucy died when she was around 3 years old. So, they ended up calling this mysterious fossil the Child of Lucy. Crazy, right? These ancient bones give us stories that keep us wondering. Otzi the Iceman. On September 19, 1991, 2 German tourists, Erika and Helmut, were mountain climbing in the Alps. As they were descending from the summit, they stumbled upon something, a cluster of brown stuff encased in ice. And when they got closer, surprise, it was a dead body. Can you believe it? Parts of the skull, arms, and back were visible, but much of it was still hidden within the ice. Initially, they thought it might be someone who had recently met a tragic accident. But nope, it turned out to be Otzi, the oldest naturally preserved mummy. After 4 days of chipping away at the ice, research revealed that Otzi likely died around 3,300 BC. Whoa, that's older than Jesus, even before the Great Pyramids were built. The story of Otzi became one of the coolest modern archaeological discoveries. Lots of weird myths attach themselves to this find, like since its discovery, there have been deaths or curses related to it. But behind all that mystery are some intriguing facts that will keep your curiosity alive. They found Otzi's everyday items, like tools for daily life. His teeth were heavily worn due to hard foods. His hair was shaved before his death. Traces of smoke were found in his lungs, likely due to frequent exposure to campfires. He had unique tattoos on various parts of his body. Check out his fingernails, it seems he did hard labor, and there are signs of diseases affecting nail growth. The most fascinating thing, his axe was intact and the handle was still there. Normally, handles disappear in archaeological finds. There's a bow he coated with fat to keep it flexible and awesome, plus 14 arrows stored in a special deer leather quiver with a super cool design. He had small tools for light work, fire-starting tools, and a belt made of leather. There was a small knife with moss residue on it, indicating prior use. His clothes were well preserved, and he even had shoes with laces. In 2001, they CT scanned and X-rayed Otzi, revealing an arrowhead stuck in his shoulder bone. Now, here's the head scratcher. Why was he shot from behind with an arrow? Big question for scientists. In short, Otzi is a mind-blowing discovery. Despite his old age, his condition is unbelievably well preserved. So, there you have it, buddy. These stories will surely leave you in awe. You already knew that the world is full of mysteries, right? Don't forget to comment below and add more to these fascinating tales. Also, remember to like and share the video. Thanks for sticking around till the end, and see you next time.